Guys, I thought I'd just walk through a bit of a live setup and situation this morning. So obviously everyone's trying to predict where we're going following Friday night's 200-point fall on the S&P. So I thought I'd just walk you through kind of how I'm thinking about it. And for me, it all kind of boils down to the old KISS principle. Okay, keep it simple, stupid. So we just put it on an hour here. You can see obviously that first hour closed out green. So that's kind of a really big crossroads for me, checkpoint to look at. So what I'm going to do, just simply show me S&P prior days less than 150 points and US 500 first hour global greater than 1. Okay, so this is just going to filter me every other day where we've had 150 point fall and then that first hour is green. Okay, so a couple of things I'm looking at here. First of all, I kind of look for the end of this session, see how that's going to play out. The reason I do that is, you know, if this is a really wide distribution, I probably wouldn't, you know, I'd probably be a little bit more patient from my point of view. You can see here there is, you know, 50% historically that have rallied 50 plus points here today in the Asia session, so through to 5 p.m. our time. So for me, that's worth having a bit of a swing at. Obviously, if it turns around and starts kind of weakening here, I'd just cut and kind of come back a bit later in the day. But I do think there's potential that we do get one of those moves in the next, you know, few hours Australian time, which would be nice. That would take us through to kind of 7,400. So I'm kind of trading for that at the moment. Looking in terms of the full day, next thing I'm kind of looking at is where the S&P finishes. So again, potential that we finish, you know, 90, 100 points higher. That's happened half the time. Moves to lows. So there is potential that we kind of do come back and test those lows again. But again, looking at these highs. So that's kind of the framework that I'm looking at today to operate somewhere within that. So I'm obviously kind of trading for these two moves here. If it's getting clear that that's not going to play out, then from my point of view, I'll just close out positions and kind of have a fresh look come London Open. So that's, yeah, the way that I'm kind of looking at today, and we'll see what happens. Guys, we just clicked over the second hour open following Friday night's absolute collapse. So for me, that's kind of the next checkpoint in terms of my positioning. So I'll just kind of walk you through how I'm thinking about things now. Obviously, that second hour, very, very good. If you're a position long, like I was and am, again, just due to that first hour, kind of gives us a little bit of a free hit. If you look at the stats higher, which that played out, which was nice. So second hour for me is like the next checkpoint, as I said. So the way I'd be doing that is I'm kind of just looking at, let's do again, just filtering prior day. Let's widen it out a bit. Let's make it 50 points or lower. And then we get that nice first 2 hour move higher. So this is one of my favorite setups here for obvious reasons. So I think we're up about 35, 40 points from open in that first few hours. So let's filter 20 points or more. So a couple of things that I want to look at. First of all, Asia session. So when I talk about Asia session, that's from Globex Open through to London Open. So that's this period here. What's the change over this period? So if you're thinking that, you know, potentially you're going to see some massive reversal and we're just going to start dumping lower, the data would suggest that doesn't happen, essentially. You can see here that out of 16 occurrences, 14 of them finished 23 or better for that period. Okay, so essentially downside is limited. Okay, so any weakness through this period would be more, in my opinion, would be more a chance to add to your long position than not. So a few ways you can look at that as well. You can put it in Mosaic into the edge overlay, where you can see essentially the live price given what's happened historically, where that sits in the distribution. So you can see it's pretty much neutral at the moment. It's right on the mean, essentially. EV's 5 points. So yeah, so neither a strong buy or strong sell at the moment when you're looking at the Asia session distribution. But what could get you excited if you're holding longs in terms of the full day playing out, when we look at these global highs, when this kind of setups occurred in the past, 15 out of 16 have reached 74 points or better, the highs, okay? So I'd be pretty confident today that we're going to reach, 74.20. That's at some stage today. So obviously, you've got to manage your risk through that period, but very, very strong indication historically that the market will recover to kind of at least that level at some stage today. Again, you can put into a high-low probability model here, and this is essentially what it tells you. 94% of days push higher than where we've, the current high. 31% of days went deeper. So still a fair bit to go here. So mean 106, current highs 39. So still potentially a long way to go today on that basis to intraday highs. We could also look at S&P finishes. Never been a red. That's quite interesting, isn't it? Never been a red S&P finish under these conditions. Okay, so if we do get any moves back below open here, based on historicals, that would be a excellent buying opportunity. Here we are here again in terms of the S&P finish distribution, still telling us for the close for the day that there's still upside. If you look at the historicals, what are we in the 31st percentile? So a little bit more to go in terms of the closing S&P price. So all in all, very long bias in terms of the closes and the highs today. Obviously, anything can happen, outliers, tails, etc. But that's kind of my take on where the market's at the moment.